In this next exercise, I'm going to be teaching you a method of recognizing different people's thoughts from one another. And this technique will be easier if you have a friend that you can help practice your telepathy with. If not, I'll provide another example. So, the first thing we've done in this set of exercises is establish our thoughts. This needs to keep being developed. Don't just practice it once and expect it to work. You need to constantly be in association with your own thoughts for you to recognize them. At that point, then you can start separating others' thoughts from others. Because if you get the first exercise, you'll already know your thoughts from others. So the first stage was to divide you from everyone else. Now we need to divide everyone else from everyone else, and this is a harder stage. This is a much harder stage. Trust me, this is going to take lots of practice. The first trick is you want to be in a room with one person. You want to have a close friend or a family member or a practitioner you train with. And you want to simply dwell within each other's presence. Keep a social distance if you like. 6 feet apart is fine. Even 60 feet apart if you can see each other. Now, the thing you want is for no one else to be around. And this is the hard part. You are surrounded. And so even if you're just with one person, you're going to be picking up on countless thoughts. You now have to, and this is the reason you need an agreeable practitioner, cast a circle around you and another individual. And then sit with them. Learn the way their mind feels. Learn the way their thoughts hit you when you're alone. And remember, separate your thoughts from their thoughts. Don't create any mixtures. If you dislike comic books and your friend likes comic books and you cast a circle around you and your friend, you should pick up a signature of liking them and a signature of disliking them, not a neutral signature. This means that you've fused energies and you're kind of trying to be agreeable. Don't be agreeable. Be a psychic practitioner. Sit with your friend. Sit and become completely familiar with the way they think. And then end the circle and go somewhere with your friend. Go to a restaurant, go to a party, go to a large group, go to any event where there's lots of people. And you will again recognize this psychic collective ocean of madness. You want to sit and recognize where your friends' thoughts are. You know what they're like, you know what they feel like, and so you want to be able to recognize them in a crowd. This isn't that hard, but it's challenging to start getting everyone. So once you pick out one person, you'll get the knack for finding a thought, a mind, inside of all of the minds. Because really they're all overlapping. It's like a million things inside of the same object. And so you want to be able to pick something out through its mental signature. This is the key power of a telepath. You can read mental signatures. There's no point in going further until you can. You have to be able to read what's going on in someone's mind. And you need, well, that's what you're getting to. But you have to be able to know you're reading the right mind. So if you don't have a friend to do this practice with, there is another way to practice this. Go into a small group, any sort of situation where there's not too many people to deal with. Now, say, for example, going to a fast food restaurant where there's a few people eating inside and a few workers. If you enter this place and you start to cast a protective circle around yourself. So here's what I mean. Go and sit in a booth or a stand or somewhere outside where there's a few people, and then quietly project a mental circle around yourself. You don't have to stand up and draw a circle. It's really not necessary. For me, I simply project it out from my mind. It's like creating a bubble coming out from yourself with your own mind. And then what you want is to start trying to take things in to the circle. Look at the person across that's running the cash register and take their thoughts into your circle. Say, I allow them to enter the circle and I want to know what their thoughts are. And this is not invasive. We will go over the ethics of telepathy eventually. In fact, I'm going to write that down right now just so I remember. Okay, so we've got that saved for later. We will go over the ethics. I assure you there's nothing intrusive or invasive or molesting about this power. Everyone is freely projecting their thoughts. If you are trying to hide a thought, it is much different. And then the truth is you can't. We'll get there too. Hiding thoughts. Yeah, I'm going to add that too. Because that's an important subject. Now, back to this subject. Once you're doing this, you'll be able to read this person a little. And then push them back out of the circle and focus on another person. You don't have to stare at them. Just connect to them. Let them into this mental energy. You've created your mental barrier so you can choose what passes through. Do this with everyone there. Do every single person and sit and try to recognize their energies. And then remove your mental shield. And you will see all of their energies flood in again. And eventually, and trust me, if you get this the first time, please email the school and I will start testing you to see if we can make you the telepathy teacher. Because we typically don't get this the first time. You have to keep going. So don't be hard on yourself. This is a training practice. This isn't a unlocking your telepathy exercise. I'm sorry if you thought that's what it was, but it just can't work that way. Some people believe taking certain drugs and doing certain magical rituals will just give you this faculty, and they're wrong. You may unlock it for a moment, but you won't know how to control it, and you won't know what you're experiencing or perceiving. So you'll just end up deluded along some false path of thinking you can read minds. You want to actually get there the tried and true, hard, set path. So doing this routinely will inevitably show you how to divide other people's minds. And the exercise I just gave you, the kind of desperate exercise if you don't have a friend to work this magic with, this exercise is kind of enough to let you do this slightly artificially until you're ready. If you're in a group and you want to read a specific person's mind, you don't have to be able to divide everyone. You can cast a circle around yourself and then allow their energy in. Now, this is noticeable to psychics. If you were in a room with me and you cast a mental circle, I would know. I would see it. I would hear it. If you then tried to open it up and allow me into it, I would feel that like a call. I would hear you and I would probably look at you. So the benefit of not having to use this practice is that you're much more secretive and silent to the other mystical practitioners around you. I don't cast a mental circle when I'm in a group. I simply can divide every thought that's going on around me from all the others because I've practiced this long enough. So this one will require way more practice. I'd say do this every day. If you can find a situation you're in every day where you're just around a few people, do exercise 3, the one I just mentioned. So exercise 1 so far is getting your mind figured out. Exercise 2 is using an ally to figure out another person's mind. And exercise 3 is being able to isolate minds in your environment using a magic circle. using a mental circle. This is the main key to this level of practice. So now we're going to move on to the third module.